Hi, everyone. So, yeah, I'm the Dutch lady living in London working for an American university. Very excited to be here, and I'm a Slush virgin, so not anymore after this trip, clearly. So, I'm here to talk a little bit about Minerva, which we're building essentially a new university completely from scratch. Starting with the world. The world is changing very rapidly, as you all know. Here's an interesting picture that was taken in 2005. It is actually a picture of the arrival of the Pope in Rome. You might wonder why I'm showing you this picture. Have a look at the next picture. So this was the same event in 2013. So obviously the changes are significant. The world is becoming more and more digital. Between 2005 and 2013, the use of smartphones has increased with from 30% to 65% of the population owning a smartphone. The world is also becoming more and more global and more interconnected. So here you see an image of the flight patterns. There's this year or last year alone, there were 3.1 billion flights, people on flights worldwide. In 2004, there were 2.1 billion. So the world is becoming more and more global, becoming more and more interconnected, becoming more digital, and technology is really dictating the pace of change. So what we believe is that universities should change accordingly. So with the ever-changing world and the fast-changing world, education hasn't really changed that much, right? Education should be global. Education should be innovative. Education should be relevant to today's changing world. The most traditional universities, the traditional model of higher education is still very much based on how it was designed hundreds of years ago. And whilst that model was quite relevant to that time, is it still that relevant? Like, what would Harvard or Oxford or Yale or the University of Helsinki, what would it look like if it was created today? 65% of all students in high schools at the moment will end up in jobs that don't exist yet. So how can a university prepare students for jobs that don't exist yet? The answer is pretty simple. By actually not preparing them for a specific job, but by preparing them and equipping them with certain skills and tools that they can use to be successful in any job. 93% of employers have said that it's more important that a student can demonstrate certain skills like critical thinking, problem solving, leadership. It's more important to be able to demonstrate that than it is to show what you've studied. So what have we done? Minerva has essentially reimagined the university experience from scratch. We felt that rather than to try and change something that already exists, so let's take Harvard and try and make changes there, it's actually easier to build something from the ground up, to build something that is relevant to today's world, to today's students, to today's employers. So we've developed a completely new undergraduate program. So the four key elements of Minerva, so to speak, are first of all a reinvented curriculum, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But our curriculum is fully based on active learning. Secondly, as my colleagues already mentioned, at Minerva, students actually travel around the world. So we have a global rotation program, and we offer a full global immersive experience. Again, I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a minute. Accessibility. Our admissions process, we're open to any students from any part of the world. We are a US university, but unlike other US universities, there's no cap on admissions whatsoever, so students are fully admitted based on their merit. And the last part is we're building an international community. There's no majority of students at Minerva. Everyone is from all over the world. There's only about 20% of our students are American. The rest is international. So it's an incredibly diverse and international community. So let me tell you a little bit about our curriculum. So our curriculum is fully based on active learning. That means that at Minerva there's never any lectures. All our classes are small seminars, between 14 and 19 students per class, and it's about mastery, not memorization. So the curriculum is fully based on the science of learning, and there's a lot of research that's been done that show that it's actually students learn better by doing rather than by memorizing. And I think we've been all in that situation where you're in a classroom and you're listening to a lecture, and only 50% of the lecture you actually kind of like listen to, and the rest you might check your phone. And like what I'm doing now, we don't do that. Oh, sorry, we don't do that at at Minerva. Like, I'm already speaking way too much. Professors are only allowed to speak for about 5% of the time, and the rest is fully interactive. There's also no exams at Minerva. All the classes are students are being assessed based on their participation in class, group projects, research projects, to really design or help develop 4 core competencies like critical thinking, creative thinking, effective communication, and effective interaction. The second piece, that is global immersion. So when students study with us, they move around the world. And that's not just to have fun and to see the sights and to get drunk and all that, what students do, but to actually offer a global immersion experience that goes beyond any kind of experience they can have at a university, traditional university campus. So when students study with us, they actually live in 7 different cities throughout the course of their 4 years of studies. So they start their first year in San Francisco. In the second year, they move to Berlin for 1 semester and to Buenos Aires for the second semester. In the third year, they move to Seoul and to Bangalore, and in the fourth year to London and Istanbul. In each of these cities, they live together as a cohort in a Minerva residence. And in each of these cities, they're going to use the city as a campus. I mean, who needs football fields and cheerleaders if you can get a city and really experience it from the inside out, right? So when students study with us, they do location-based assignments, they do research projects based on the resources that they can find in the city. They do co-curricular activities that are relevant to that city. They engage with the city's leaders, the industry leaders, with local government, with local policies. They look at certain global problems from all these different perspectives. They look at, for instance, in San Francisco, they're doing a research project on the homelessness issues in San Francisco, which is a real issue in San Francisco. Then they go to Berlin, and they might look at the same kind of like issue and look at how does the city of Berlin deal with that problem versus how does Bangalore deal with that, and how does San Francisco deal with that? So what we're trying to help our students develop is a global understanding that really goes beyond, any kind of like global experience they could have elsewhere. And then the last piece that's very interesting, which Lasse also referred to, is that we teach via a technology platform that we have designed ourselves. So it's a proprietary platform. It's online, and it's fully in live video chat, like in real time. So essentially, this platform enables more interaction and more participation than any regular classroom actually can. It's like being in the front row of a class constantly. As I said, only 14 to 19 students per class, and everyone sees each other. There's breakout groups, there's live debates. It's extremely interactive. And it also allows for constant evaluation and feedback. So our classes are actually recorded so that the students can go back into it later. The professors go back into it, and they give feedback at the end of every week. They give students feedback on how did they participate, like what can they improve, where were they, what did they do well. So there is constant interaction, constant feedback, which helps students develop those skills that I just mentioned. So I'm going to show you a demo of the platform now, so I hope it works. Yes, okay, there you go.
The Active Learning Forum is the unexpected learning forum, the place where you're constantly engaging with what you're learning.
As a Minerva student, I get to take classes from anywhere in the city.
All of Minerva's classes are taught in the seminar format with a maximum of 18 students.
Everyone agrees that higher education could be much better than it is today. Minerva's acting on that by putting together state-of-the-art technology and superb pedagogy. We have at our fingertips tools that are designed to engage the students 100% of the time.
When you characterize a problem, it's important that it helps guide you to the solution.
Perfect, that's excellent.
In a normal classroom, there's people behind you, there's people to the side of you, but it's nice to be able to see everybody and their reactions to what's being talked about in class.
I feel like I'm in a room with all of my students. I simply forget I'm on the computer.
You will be going into breakout groups?
It's the kind of learning where we're an active participant instead of a passive recipient, and it's so much more fun than a traditional class.
We are the only school in the world that uses the science of learning to design not just what we teach, but how we teach it.
Minerva students live and study together. Having that human interaction really strengthens the online class experience.
We can do things with education that has simply never been possible before, and that's what we're trying to do at Minerva.
Right, I hope everyone could hear that. So yeah, that just gave you a little bit of a taste of what a class at Minerva is like. I think my time is up here. I just wanted to close with a quote from Stephen Koslin, who is our founding dean. Stephen was the dean of social sciences at Harvard for about 30 years. He's a renowned neuroscientist, neuropsychologist, a specialist in the science of learning. And essentially what he says is like, why would I leave a place like Harvard and Stanford, where he was after Harvard, to join this radically different program and this completely new university? And the answer is simple, because he wants to help build something better. So that's what we try to do, and I'm very happy that I had an opportunity to speak to you all. So my details are here. If anyone wants to connect later, please get in touch. I'll be around, so I'll be happy to answer any more questions. Sorry. Thank you very much.